Luka Doncic has been questionable kind of throughout this week because he already had a broken nose, sprained his left ankle last time out in the win that the Mavericks just had, but he is questionable at Boston. The Celtics have won 9 straight, 5-3-1 ATS in that time. The Mavs are actually 8-2 in their last 10 straight up and against the spread. Celtics -9.5 in this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, Luka is just incredible. Like he's been so good throughout the whole season. He's kind of putting together like that late-ish push for MVP. Like at least he's kind of making it a 3-man race. But look, I don't know. I mean, it's questionable with like the ankle. I understand that, but I mean, he just balled out on his birthday. He had 35 or 30-point triple double, like 14 assists.
Right.
Like the dude was unbelievable. So when I'm looking at this, like it's kind of hard to say like he's, it's hard to guess like whether he's going to play or not. Cause it's like, he didn't look hurt at all.
Right.
So it's like, when you're trying to make that like assumption or kind of a look at the game, it definitely makes it a little bit more complicated. But they play tomorrow or today on Friday, but then they don't play again until Sunday. So it isn't like a back-to-back set. They obviously need him. It's the last game of of a road trip for them. They go back home to Dallas on Sunday. I would hope that he plays, and I think the line is kind of indicative of like splitting it, right? So it's at like 9.5 right now. It opened at 7.5. If Luka's out, I can maybe see this balloon to double digits. But maybe that's an opportunity to kind of buy in on a Dallas Mavericks team later, like if we can get to like an 11.5 or something like that, because Dallas is, Boston's the best team in the league right now in terms of every advanced stat, but Dallas has been dynamic so far, especially even without Luka, you still have Kyrie Irving. So it's not like they're completely devoid of offense without Luka.
Yes. And Kyrie, of course, very familiar with playing in Boston. And just to sort of elaborate a bit on the situation with Luka. So as I said, they won at Toronto. That was on a second night of a back-to-back. And that was right after that crazy, heartbreaking loss in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, he seemed to limp a little bit early in the game, but as you said, went on to just have an incredible performance. So he was still able to be effective. So, I mean, if he's playing, it's not like one of those situations where, you worry it might not be 100% or anything like that. Because if he's playing, he's going to be effective. But yeah, it's kind of tough until you know for sure sort of his status.
For sure.
But let's keep it. Actually, you mentioned Tatum.
Oh, yeah.
Did you want to
Yeah, I can
elaborate on that in terms of the rebounding?
Yeah, so I like Tatum to go over the 8.5 rebounds. It's honestly like it's a little bit of a high line for him. He's only hit it in 44% of games this season, but he's still averaging 8.5 rebounds per game. Part of why I like this is that Dallas is one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. They're like relatively undersized, especially if Luka doesn't play. Then that takes away like one of their better rebounders. I think he actually is leading the Mavericks in rebounds right now. So that kind of takes that advantage away from Dallas at all. But when Tatum and the Celtics played Dallas most recently, he had 11 rebounds on January 22nd, and over his last 3 contests against Dallas over the past 2 seasons, he's cleared this line in all of them. Dallas allows the second most rebounds per game to their opponents. So I do think that this is a good opportunity for Tatum to go over the 8.5 rebounds. If you can find a good price on double-double, that's not unreasonable really either in this spot. So especially when you look at, his recent form, he just had 11 against Philly. I think this is a good spot for Tatum to go over the 8.5 rebounds.